All right, today we're breaking down one of the most powerful and, honestly, simplest tools for creating a calmer, more effective classroom. We're talking about routines.
We've all been there, right? We've felt the difference between a classroom that just flows and one that feels, well, chaotic. On one side, it's constant questions. Kids are off task, and you feel like you're just redirecting all day. But on the other side, students know what to do, they're focused, and you actually get to facilitate learning. So what's the hidden force that creates all that calm?
Well, that hidden force, it all comes down to this one simple concept called behavioral load.
So what is behavioral load? Think of it like cognitive clutter. When routines are unclear, students have to burn so much precious mental energy just trying to guess what the expectations are. Imagine you're a student who's new to a class. You're not just trying to learn the content. You're also trying to figure out where the homework goes, how you're supposed to ask a question, what happens when the bell rings, all of that. That's behavioral load in action. And that ambiguity, it's exhausting, and it is almost always the root cause of confusion and kids getting off task.
So how in the world do we lighten this load? Well, the solution is predictability. It's all about making the environment itself do the heavy lifting for you. And the science behind why this works is actually pretty fascinating.
Okay, first off, routines create this really comforting sense of order and safety. For any student, just knowing what's going to happen next removes this huge layer of uncertainty. And the research on this is clear. It directly reduces anxiety and frustration, which of course means fewer behavioral flare-ups.
Second, when routines become automatic habits, they seriously lighten the load on a student's executive functions. It's kind of like driving a car, right? Once you've learned how, you don't actively think about every single little action. That automaticity frees up their working memory for what really matters, learning the lesson you're trying to teach. And third, and this one is huge, routines basically act like training wheels for self-regulation. They give students a safe, consistent structure where they can practice managing their own impulses and their own emotions. And over time, they start to internalize these patterns, and they just get so much better at managing themselves.
And as one education expert puts it, this whole thing creates this fantastic win-win. Students feel safer, they feel calmer, which lowers their anxiety, and you, as the teacher, get to protect that incredibly valuable instructional time that would otherwise just get eaten up by managing the classroom. It's a really, really powerful exchange.
Okay, so what does this actually look like in a real classroom? Let's check out some examples, because this principle works beautifully no matter what grade level you're talking about. Now, what's so cool here is seeing how this one core idea just adapts. For a second grader, you know the morning can be full of wild energy and distraction. A clear entry routine channels all that, and it stops the chaos before it can even get started. Then you jump to seventh grader. Transitions between activities, especially in a hands-on lab, can get out of control fast. But a simple clap pattern? It's a quick, nonverbal cue that gets everyone focused in seconds. And then for a 10th grader, the end of class can easily become a mad dash for the door. A structured wrap-up not only prevents that, but it actually reinforces what they learned that day. See? The goal is always the same. Cut down on the ambiguity and create focus.
All right, so how can you actually put this into practice, like tomorrow? The good news is you don't have to change everything all at once. Just start with these 3 high-impact routines that work in pretty much any classroom.
First up, let's perfect that entry routine. This is your first impression of the day, and man, does it set the tone. Greet them at the door. It builds that positive connection right away. Give them a super clear sequence of tasks, where bags go, where homework goes, to just eliminate all that initial confusion. And have a warm-up ready to go, so they're engaged immediately. But here's the key. You have to teach it, you have to model it, and you have to practice it until it's just second nature.
Next, you've got to master transitions. These are those little moments where all the chaos loves to creep in. But a simple, practiced signal, a chime, a countdown, can save you minutes of instructional time every single day. Practice it like a drill until it's quick and quiet, and you will be absolutely amazed at how much smoother your class runs between activities.
And finally, build a strong dismissal routine. Instead of ending the day in a rush, end it with purpose. A clear signal, a quick wrap-up task like an exit picket to check for understanding, and a defined procedure for how to pack up. It ensures the day ends on a calm, structured note, and hey, learning continues right up to the final bell.
And please remember, routines are not a set-it-and-forget-it kind of thing. You have to explicitly reteach them, especially after a long weekend or a break. That little investment of time pays off exponentially,
Because at the end of the day, consistency is what builds your classroom culture.
So if there's one crucial point to take away, it's this. Think of your routines as your classroom's operating system. Seriously, they aren't about control, they're about creating an efficient OS that just runs smoothly in the background, so that everything else, the teaching, the learning, the relationships, can take center stage.
And here's the payoff. It is a true win-win. For you, the teacher, it means less stress and way more time to actually do what you love to do, teach. And for your students, it means less anxiety and more mental space available for what they're there to do, learn.
Look, you don't have to overhaul everything at once. Just think about it. What is one routine that you can focus on and just perfect this week? Start small, because the consistency you build today will set you and your students free to do the real important work of learning.